Oh, hello. Welcome to another Tabletop Impulse video. So today we're going to run through all of the tactical operations, that is to say the secondary objectives really, in the Kill Team base game. So these are the four tactical objective decks that you can, you select one of them, you can swap from your faction Tac Ops if you have them, and then you create your deck of six. From that deck, you draw two, pick one, draw two, pick one, draw two, pick one, until you're left with three tactical operations cards that you're going to try and fulfill in that game. So we're going to start. We're going to go through in the order they are in the book, and we're going to start off with Seek and Destroy. So Seek and Destroy is a deck that is themed around killing, which sounds great because we're going to be killing stuff. And it's worth saying as well that almost no team has access to all four decks. So the team that you choose is going to affect which deck you can select from. And if you can pick more than one, you have more than one choice of deck, you can't mix and match. You have to pick one deck, sub out for your faction Tac Ops, and then build your deck of six cards. So let's have a look here. Headhunter. Reveal this Tac Op when an enemy leader operative is incapacitated, you score 1 VP. If it's the first or second turning point, you score 1 VP. I quite like this, in so much as you don't have to telegraph, you don't have to announce it to your opponent that you've taken Headhunter, so they don't know to keep their leader safe. Some people say you have to announce to your opponents which deck you've taken. Some people play it that way. Some people say that you don't even have to announce to your opponent which deck you've taken. Your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments. I feel like the first victory point here is pretty easy to get, right? Because I feel like if you're going to go on to win the game, there's a high chance that you've killed your opponent's leader by the end of the game. Leaders are usually very powerful pieces that can put out a lot of damage, or they've got some key buffing mechanic or something like that. So I feel like Headhunter's quite easy to score 1 VP. However, killing your opponent's leader in the first or second turning point is hard. I think it's difficult to get that second VP just because your opponent's going to know their leader's quite a key piece for their faction, right? So they're going to keep their leader safe. They're going to not expose their leader to harm. And so I think you're going to struggle to get 2 VP there. Challenge is perhaps my least favourite tactical objective in the entire game. So for challenge, you reveal the Tac Op in the target reveal step of the first turning point. Select one enemy operative and one friendly operative. If the enemy operative is incapacitated by the friendly operative, you score 1 VP. And if you do it while the enemy operative is within red of the friendly operative, you score 1 VP. So you have to nominate and tell your opponent, I'm going to kill this guy with this guy. It's too many variables there for your opponent to try and stop you scoring that objective. Don't like it. Don't like it. Route. So you reveal it in the target reveal step of any turning point. If an enemy operative is incapacitated by a friendly operative that's within red of your opponent's drop zone, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition in a subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. This heavily depends on the scenario. You know, if you're playing like Consecration, where there's 4 drop zones, effectively one in each corner, then almost your entire opponent's board half, in fact, I think literally your entire opponent's board half, is within red of their drop zone. And long table edges, it's not much better. Mostly their entire board half is within red of their drop zone. If you're playing single corners diagonal deployment, though, this becomes quite difficult to score unless you know that you're a team like Harlequins could perhaps do it, that they're going to like trundle forwards. I'm going to sound really stupid now because I don't know if Harlequins can take Seek and Destroy, but you'd have to be a very highly mobile team, preferably a close combat oriented team, to really want to consider taking route on a board with corner deployments. Rob and Ransack, the one that's famously misprinted in all the decks. So I'll talk more about this at the end, but if, and it's by no means nailed on, if they don't change the secondaries when we go into the dark, hopefully the decks in there have a correctly printed Rob and Ransack card. So Rob and Ransack, you can reveal this Tac Op when the enemy operative is incapacitated by a friendly operative within black, and the friendly operative is more than blue from the other enemy operative. you score a VP. At the end of the battle, if you achieve the first condition and the friendly operative has not been incapacitated, you score 1 VP. I feel like this easier against elite teams, right? Because there's going to be fewer models, so it's going to be easier for you to isolate a model to kill in combat that's more than blue from its friends, right? Because you've got to try and get into that situation where you can kill somebody who's not near to their friends. And kill them in combat, or, so you have to be a team that's capable of killing people in combat. If you're playing a team that really prefers to kill people at range, you're going to struggle with Rob and Ransack. Execution. Reveal this Tac Op at the end of any turning point in which more enemy operatives than friendly operatives are incapacitated during that turning point. At the end of the battle, if more enemy operatives than friendly operatives are incapacitated during 2 or more turning points, you score 1 VP. At the end of the battle, if more enemy operatives than friendly operatives are incapacitated during 3 or more turning points, you score 1 VP. So on the one hand, it's reasonably good if you are playing an elite team. You're playing, let's say, Legionaries, and you're going into a team like Vet Guard or Mechanicum or Novitiates. If you're killing them at a decent pace, then maybe you're going to get the objective. But even with that in your favour, you're going to struggle, I would think, to kill more of them than they kill of you in 3 or more turning points. So you're going to have to make sure, at a minimum, you're killing, 1 or 2 of their guys every turning point and losing no more than 1 guy yourself. That sounds like kind of what you need to do with an elite team. So with an elite team, yeah, you could take this one. If you're playing a non-elite team, especially if you're playing into an elite team, then no chance. No chance. Deadly Marksman. After selecting this Tac Op, you secretly select a friendly operative to be your marksman. You reveal the Tac Op when an enemy operative is incapacitated by shooting. Attack made by your marksman while your marksman is wholly within blue of your drop zone. If any other enemy operative is incapacitated by another shooting attack made by your marksman, thank you motorbike every time I go to record something. If any other enemy operatives are incapacitated by another shooting attack made by your marksman, you score 1 VP. At the end of the battle, if you achieve the first condition and your marksman has not been incapacitated, you score 1 VP. So, yes, you have to telegraph this, right? In that you have to kill someone and then say, oh yes, this is my marksman, and then kill a second person. But if you have a powerful shooter like a plasma gun, you've already basically telegraphed your plan is to kill their dudes with your plasma gun. So you're not really, in that instance, revealing any new information. Obviously, it's going to depend on whether if you've got advantage within blue of your drop zone, this becomes much easier, especially at the moment with this vantage points FAQ that makes you pretty invincible on most vantage points. Yeah? So I like it in that layout where you've got advantage within blue of your drop zone, which is quite often you get a vantage point within blue of your drop zone, and you've got a model that's obviously going to be doing shooting anyway. Right, it's not bad. The one thing that gives me pause for it is the temptation after you've scored your VP to then hide your plasma gun at the back behind some solid cover to score the second VP and not, in fact, keep him out there and try and get 3rd and 4th kills. Right? Security, my favourite, and I think the community at large have decided it's the best one. Let's look at security. So seize ground. Reveal this Tac Op in the first turning point. Select one terrain feature more than blue from your drop zone that includes any parts of the heavy trait. At the end of the battle, if the total APL of friendly operatives within black and the terrain feature is greater than that of enemy operatives, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition, there are no enemy operatives on or within black of the terrain feature, and the APL of friendly operatives within black and the terrain feature is 4 or more, you score 1 VP. This is quite an easy one with a caveat. Right, the caveat being that I've forgotten about it before now. So if you're winning the game, if you have models on the table at the end and your opponent has only 1 or 2 guys, then as long as you remember in turn 4 to move towards your seized ground objective, you should be able to score these 2 points. If you're held in a situation where you can move towards seized ground at the end of turning point 4, you've probably done sufficiently badly that you've not won the game anyway, right? So it's one of these things where you don't have to worry about it. Make sure you worry about it a little bit though, because I have been, at Warhammer World. I've had a really, really great game. Scored basically maximum points on the primary. Scored 4 points on my secondaries. Scored 0 from this secondary because I forgot to move my guys back to within an inch of the piece of heavy terrain. Also, be mindful of how the board is set up. In Consecration, for example, where you got the 4 corner deployments, played Consecration today with Zimbad. He won, but it was a fun game. Novitiates again into his Grey Knights, and he's very good. With those 4 corner deployments, it was kind of possible that there wouldn't have been any heavy terrain on the map that was more than blue from a drop zone, because we had nothing in the dead centre of the board. So you just got to watch that when you're setting up tables. Obviously, if you're at an event or something, if your TO is good, then they should have thought of that and made sure that there's something seizable, right, for both sides. Hold the line. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. At the end of any turning point, if there are no enemy operatives in ready or drop zone, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. Really like hold the line, especially if you're on a single corner deployment, because it's just like your opponent probably isn't going to get to you. Okay, they've probably got better things to do. I'm guilty of letting my opponents score hold the line a lot because it's just quite a thing to have to reposition one of your units just to try and deny hold the line on a map where the drop zones are quite small. If the drop zones are massive, right, then it becomes a worse pick. So you've got to look at the table, right? You've also got to look at your opponents. Harlequins are going to deny this really easily because they've got the fly. Okay. Meanwhile, if you're playing against something like Necrons or Death Guard, it's going to be, or even Thousand Suns, it's going to be, well, Thousand Suns have got a teleport, but in general they're quite slow. It's going to be quite easy to score hold the line against those slower teams because they're not going to want to spend their time sort of slogging up the board to you. Protect assets. You can reveal this tactical objective in the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if 2 or more enemy operatives are incapacitated within the circle of an objective marker during that turning point and or while carrying an objective during that turning point, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning points, you score 2 VP. Against Horde teams, your 7 wound, 10 plus model teams, this is quite possible. Against elite teams, you're really going to struggle, right? Because to score your 2 VP, you've got to have killed 4 of the 6 Space Marines, right? Which isn't always going to happen. And you've got to kill 2 of them you've got to have 2 turning points where you kill 2 Marines in the right position. And anybody will tell you a turning point where you manage to kill 2 Marines, right, a quarter of a team, is a big, big turning point. To require that to happen twice in the game is a big ask. So Protect Assets is one of these ones where you look at your opponent's team. It's a 6 model Space Marine team. It's Phobos or Legionaries or something like that, or Death Guard or similar. Swerve this one, right? But if you come up against Vet Guard or Novitiates or Mechanicum, then maybe this is one you could consider. Damage limitation is basically the flip side. So damage limitation reveals Tac Ops in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. At the end of any turning point, if no friendly operatives were incapacitated during that turning point, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of a subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. If you're playing an elite team, if you're playing especially something really hardy like Nurgle or Legionaries of the Mark of Nurgle, then yeah, you take damage limitation. Because yeah, you're going to have probably 2 turns when none of your guys die, right? Or Custodes, take the 4 Custodes build, But any elite team, really. Taking a Horde team, a 7 wound team, I wouldn't. With a 7-1 team, it's not a failure if you lose a model every turn. It's basically to be expected, right? Because you're trading and things, and you don't mind making those trades, but this is incompatible with the concept of trading, and so as a 7-1 team, I wouldn't take it, but as a an elite team, yeah, you take that. Plant Banner sucks. It's the only one in security that I think just outright sucks. After selecting the Tac Op, secretly select one friendly operative to be carrying your banner token. Reveal the Tac Op when that operative drops your banner token. When you do, until the end of the battle, a pick-up action can be performed by friendly operatives on your banner token. At the end of the battle, if your banner token's within red of, but not wholly within, your opponent's drop zone, you score 1 VP. At the end of the battle, if the banner token is wholly within your opponent's drop zone, you score 2 VP. But the opponents can come and destroy your banner for 1 action point if they get to within an inch of it. It gives you a whole extra secret mission that you have to go and perform. You have to go and get somebody right to the other side of the table, drop down the banner, keep the banner alive. If they happen to kill the guy carrying the banner, you've got to go send people to go and pick up the banner. It's a whole load of effort. In a deck where you've got things like, well, the 4 we've mentioned already, that are much easier to score than this. This is difficult. This is the only one I will always. If you can play with security, you should take security, right? But Plant Banner's no good. Central Control. Reveal attack over the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if the total APL of a friendly operative in blue at the centre of the kill zone is greater than that of enemy operatives, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of a subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. So you just put things in the middle. So this can be a great thing to stack. If you stack this up with seized ground, because there's a piece of heavy terrain near the middle of the board, and you've also got maybe a primary. A lot of the maps have got primary objectives in the middle of the board. And maybe you've got a faction Tac Op. Excuse me. Maybe you've got a faction Tac Op you can stack in there as well. It can be quite easy to get a lot of points from doing things that way, of just piling things in the middle of the board. Of course, you risk that your opponent's doing exactly the same thing. It's a popular thing, and then you're in for a big old fight in the middle of the board, which isn't always the worst thing, right? You're all trying to do the same stuff. That's fine. Infiltration. I really load Infiltration. Like, so far, I would say security is obviously the best one. Seek and Destroy is 50-50. Infiltration, I despise. So, Capture Hostage and Infiltrate is actually quite okay. It's an easier version of Rob and Ransack in a lot of ways. You know, you've got to incapacitate a friendly operative within circle and not have them more than red from other operatives. So you do have to be even more isolated. Rob and Ransack, it was blue from other operatives, but you only have to do that once, and then for the second VP, you have to do it in the 3rd or 4th turning point. I feel like it's more likely to come off in the 3rd or 4th turning point because you've thinned out the enemy ranks a little bit. It's pretty good against elite teams where they're probably going to be quite spread out by turning point 3 and 4. It's okay. Behind enemy lines, reveal attack on the target real step of any turning point. If one or more friendly operatives are wholly within your opponent's drop zone and more than blue from the enemy operatives, you score 1 VP. If you achieve it in a subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. Anything where you get into the enemy's drop board half has the same caveats, right? Depends on the scenario as to how easy or hard this is going to be. There are some scenarios where getting to your enemy's board half is pretty easy, and there are some scenarios where it's extremely fiendishly difficult. Okay? Extremely fiendishly difficult. Upload viral code. You can reveal this Tac Op in your target reveal step of any turning point. If a friendly operative performs the upload viral code action, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition in any subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. Upload viral code, 2 action points. An operative can perform this action while within red of your opponent's drop zone and not within white of any enemy operatives. So same thing about the board layout and the drop zones affecting how easy or hard this is. But also, it's 2 AP. So you're going to have to wobble up the board and then stand there like a lemon, and then next turn just activate 2 AP and then finish your activation. Unless you've got a comms or something like that, or your 3 APL team. I guess the thing it has going for it is that you can just do it twice in the same location at 2 turning points if your opponent lets you. Seriously, why is it like a motorbike rally? But I really don't like it. I really hate it because you're just burning action points. Yeah. Implant, I don't like the opportunity cost with implant. Let's have a look. So you can reveal this Tac Op when you would strike an enemy operative in combat. Instead of inflicting damage on an enemy operative from that strike, you can implant the operative instead. That operative does not lose any wounds from the strike, but you score 1 VP. If you do it again, you get another VP. Just the opportunity cost. If you've got a strike on someone in combat, you want to do them damage. I always feel pleased when I'm the opponent and somebody implants me, because it's like, great, well, I'm going to kill your guy. Yeah? And now I'm probably going to go on to win the game because you're playing with a guy down that you let me have. You charged me, you wasted your first attack implanting me, right, for your VP. So now I'm going to, obviously there are matchups where it's not less of a big deal because you can do, like Compendium Harlequins used to be able to follow up again with a second immediate strike. That was pretty filthy. If you are playing like an elite team into a weaker team and you know that you can implant then with your second hit, you're gonna the second thing you're gonna do a crit and you're gonna one shot them, then it's not so bad. But I dislike the opportunity cost if you're in a position where you're going to strike someone in combat and you have to choose this instead. So my text has disappeared. We're going to press on. Sabotage. Sabotage is like a worse version of upload viral code, which I already don't like. You can reveal attack on your target, reveal stuff at any turning point. If a terrain feature is sabotage, you get 1 VP. If a different terrain feature is sabotage, you get 1 VP. So you've got this 2 AP action. It's 2 AP, just like upload viral code. You have to be within black of a terrain feature that includes any parts of the heavy trait that's wholly within or within red of your opponent's drop zone that's not been sabotaged by friendly operatives, and you can't perform it while within white of enemy operatives. If the action is performed by friendly operatives, the terrain feature has been sabotaged by friendly operatives. So you've got to basically do the same thing as viral code, get to within red of your opponent's drop zone and spend 2 AP, but you've got to do that also within black of heavy terrain and 2 separate pieces of heavy terrain, so you're going to have to relocate between each casting of sabotage. I don't like it. I don't like it. Interloper. After selecting the Tac Ops, let one friendly operative to be your interloper. You must reveal the Tac Op when your interloper performs the interlope action. Remove the interloper from the kill zone and score 2 VP. Your interloper can perform the following mission action once. 1 AP interlope, performing action while within black of an enemy kill zone edge and more than blue from any enemy operatives. If you're playing commandos and you've got the little grot that can move around infinitely, then this is always tempting because it's 2 victory points that your opponent can do nothing to stop. And yes, you're playing with a man down, but it's only the grot. I guess Gene Stealer cults have pretty disposable Gene Stealer cultists that they can bring on and infiltrate and kind of try and run up the board and interlope them. But in general, the idea of having to lose a fighter to get your VP, sucks. I really don't like Infiltration. So Infiltration is by far my least favourite. So far, I personally would say Security, and then we say Seek and Destroy, and then we say Infiltrate. It's sad. Recon. So Recon's okay. Mark Target. You can reveal this Tac Off when a friendly operative performs a shoot action. When an enemy leader operative is selected as a target of a shooting attack for a shoot action and no other shooting attacks are made for that action, you can attempt to mark that operative instead. Complete the shooting sequence as normal, except that if any damage will be inflicted on the enemy operative, it does not lose any wounds and you score a victory point, and if you do it again, you score another victory point. You have to shoot their leader twice and not do damage. Like, if you've managed to draw a bead on their leader twice, you really probably want to kill that leader in most cases. You know? The opportunity cost is too high for me. Triangulate. You can reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of any turning point. If 2 kill zone edges are triangulated by friendly operatives, it's 1 VP. If 3 kill zone edges are triangulated by friendly operatives, you score an additional VP. So this one, triangulate 1 AP. An operative can perform its action while within blue of a kill zone edge that's not their own kill zone edge and has not been triangulated. You can't perform it within white of enemies. If it's performed by friendly operatives, the kill zone edge has been triangulated by friendly operatives. On a lot of deployment types, the first VP for this is basically free, because if you have like the long board deployment edge or the one where you've got 2 corners, then you have access to your home edge that you can't triangulate and 2 other kill zone edges. So you're going to get the one, and then you're going to run up to the enemy to try and get to their board edge to triangulate it. The thing that makes this better than a lot of going to the enemy board edge type things is you're not doing it with a particular model that you've given a beacon to or something like that. It's just if any of your team can get over to the other edge, you can quickly just triangulate and get a victory point. It's only 1 AP. I quite like triangulate. I dislike plant signal beacon though. You must reveal this Tac Op when a friendly operative performs the plant signal beacon action. At the end of the battle, if your signal beacon token is in within red of their drop zone, you score 2 VP. Once a battle, a friendly operative can perform the following mission action. 2 AP, plant signal beacon, place signal beacon within black of the operative. An operative can't perform it without within white of an enemy. If any enemy operative finish a move within black, as the centre of your signal beacon token, a more than circle for friendly operatives has been broken. It's like an even harder version of Plant Banner, because enemy doesn't even need to spend the action point to destroy it. Right? Also, so it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's 2 AP. You've got to guard it. You've got to get it up there. But unlike Plant Banner, it doesn't have to be, all your guys have the ability to do this. It doesn't have to be one particular model with the banner that you've privately assigned. So it's got that going for it, I suppose. Overrun. You can reveal a Tac Op in the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if a friendly operative is wholly within each kill zone quarter and more than blue from centre to kill zone, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. When I was trying to play with my Phobos, I ended up taking Overrun. It's pretty hard doing it with an elite team, because once you start losing pieces, you very quickly get to the point where you're going to struggle to get, you need at least 4 people alive to score this. Yeah, and you need to have that twice. So it can be a tricky one. It can be a tricky one with an elite team. With a horde team, it shouldn't be a massive problem. Obviously, again, the deployment zones matter. It's going to be easier on any table where you've already got access to both table quarters on your side in deployments, and you're just trying to get over to the other table quarters. If you have the problem where you're playing corner deployments and you only start in one table quarter, then it becomes maybe a little bit more difficult, because you've got to get over to the other 3 table quarters before you can start to score it. Vantage. It depends so much on your table. You can reveal the Tac Op in the target reveal step of a turning point. If a friendly operative performs the Vantage action, you score 1 VP. If you do it again, you get another VP. Vantage. An operative can perform the action on a Vantage point that's not within your drop zone, has not been secured, can't be performed while it's within white of enemy operatives. If the action is performed by friendly operatives, the Vantage point has been secured. It's go to a place and use 2 AP, so it kind of sucks. Like a lot of the go to a place and use 2 AP. At least the place you have to go isn't necessarily your opponent's deployment zone or within ready your opponent's deployment zone. So it just depends whether if you have 2 vantage points that are like just outside your drop zone, this can be reasonably easy to score, especially if you have any kind of movement shenanigans that's going to help you get up on top of those vantage points. Previously, this had a problem of you being left stood on top of vantage points, and then having to be quite vulnerable. But again, with the change in the FAQ recently, we talked about a lot on the channel that makes you pretty invulnerable on a vantage point if you're on a conceal. This suddenly becomes worth thinking about, certainly for teams like Harlequins that have 3 AP and fly, up, get the vantage point, do 2 AP on the vantage point, stand on top of the vantage point like a wally, and then even if people are right near you, they can't shoot you unless they also get up onto the vantage point. Retrieval, I hate it. Reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of the first turning point. Your opponent places your retrieval token anywhere in the kill zone, not on a vantage point, and not wholly within or within blue of the drop zone. The pickup action can be performed by friendly operatives upon your retrieval token. At the end of the battle, if a friendly operative controls your retrieval token, you score 1 VP. If your retrieval token is being carried by a friendly operative, you score 1 VP. I dislike it because your opponent can place the retrieval token. He can force you to go away from other things that he's interested in or you're interested in. You're handing too much power to your opponent. I wouldn't take it. I think Recon's probably the second best though. I think I probably rate them security, then Recon, and then Seek and Destroy, and then finally Infiltration. I think if you've got a different basic tier list for these, let me know in the comments. But I think it's I think for me it goes security, Recon, Seek and Destroy, and then finally Infiltration. But all that being said, there are things to think about. So obviously your team, you've heard the things I've said. Are you going to be an elite team, or are you a horde team? Are you playing against an elite team or a horde team? What is the layout of the board? Where are the deployment zones? How much terrain? If you need to get on vantage, you know where the advantage is that you're getting on top of. If you need to hold heavy terrain, do you know which piece of heavy terrain you're going to nominate before you commit to taking the card? Okay, so it varies, but still security is the best, right? I'm streaming on Tuesday evening. I'm technically well, it's just gone midnight, so I don't know right now whether it is Monday or Tuesday. But when this goes up, in the evening, Tuesday evening, I'll be streaming a hobby stream for you, okay? Oh, just one more thing before we finish off, actually. We're going to just flip back here. Let me think. I'm trying to think of how many of these are incompatible, or do we think are incompatible with Into the Dark. These all seem fine. Is it literally just going to be... these all seem fine. Assume seize ground. They might put something in to say you can't seize ground on a wall. It has to be one of the little generator things that we've seen. These all seem fine. It's just this vantage, right? Obviously, we don't know the rules yet, right? But vantage doesn't seem scoreable on the sort of more 2D map that we've seen for Into the Dark, which means that they might be doing, which means they might be doing a new set of Tac Ops for Into the Dark that have totally changed things. And then I don't know whether it'll be like a season thing where you use the new Tac Ops in all your games. That would be quite cool, actually, and it would massively shake up the meta. Or whether it's going to be something where, you use one set of Tac Ops for Into the Dark and one set of Tac Ops for a kind of more open game. Don't know. Hope you found that interesting. Let me know in the comments down below if you did. And please do like and subscribe to the video and that sort of thing. Very, very small channel, and obviously getting subscriptions really helps out. Alright guys, thanks. Have a great night. Bye bye bye. Bye bye. Cheerio.